Well, we're live at Loftus Road. We've just seen Everton go out on penalties. Just going to show you the stadium. It's emptied extremely fast. Can you comment if you can hear us okay? Because we're reacting live from Loftus Road. Just going to go into more of a quiet spot. What can I say about that? Penalty shootout. We never looked like saving any of the penalties, and it was Tom Davis with the penalty. Hit the post. That's right. Didn't expect anything other than that, really. When I saw the team, there's just nothing there. There was no game plan for the whole match. Thought we were poor from front to back. Lacking any sort of presence at centre half for the whole game, really, and we were beaten on the wings. John Joe Kenny might as well have not been playing.
That's right, Ryan. I mean, from a neutral, it's a thrilling game, 4 goals. We had pitch invader, penalty shootout where most of the goals were scored, and the goal that was missed from Everton was retaken. So it's a match full of drama, but we reflect on yet another League Cup early exit. It seems to be always Everton's hoodoo, the League Cup. Disappointing end to what was a fair result. I mean, QPR definitely edged the first half. Everton got better as the game went on, but as you said, Ryan, a little bit toothless. And it was almost defensive disorganisation that caused the Toffees to go 2-1 behind.
We're just going to go over to a more quiet spot now. So stick with us. We just move over to a more... So we just left Loftus Road now, and I just want to talk about the game chronologically as quickly as I can. Really, thought in the first half, Everton, the team set us up for a bit of failure. Really, real lack of focal point. Solomon Rondon up front, he was isolated and he was slow, and in movement and in thought, he was always second best to the QPR defenders. John Joe Kenny was just completely exposed down the right-hand side, and QPR were getting a lot of joy. Hi, here's Mabbsy. I think David's coming in now into the video. David, you there?
I'm here, yeah. I'm just listening to
David.
To reaction.
Think. David, I'm going to let you take over in a moment. Quick sum round. I'm here with Mabbsy. So I thought John Joe Kenny was completely exposed down the right hand side. Can you hear me okay?
No, I can't. It's very
Can you hear
broken
me?
up. Very broken up.
Can you hear me, David?
No. I think
David, I'm going to let you take over if you can hear me. I don't think anyone can hear me, so I'll come back in when I get some signal.
Try and move away from the ground. Yes, so I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm guessing you can hear me. It's just Ryan's at the ground, so signal's obviously not great. Yeah, we are reacting to this defeat, another Carabao Cup defeat. Just heard the 7th time in the last 10 years that we've got out this stage. Very poor. But tell me, what was the fault tonight? Was it the performance? Was it lack of squad depth? Was it the... I mean, for me, it was lack of squad depth and the way that the game played out. Penalties, once it gets to penalties, and it's just pot luck, isn't it? And we saw 14 excellent penalties, and then a poor penalty from Tom Davies, and you're out. If you leave it to penalties, you just there's no excuse there. It just becomes a 50-50 thing. Just looking at the comments, Alex Smith saying if we have Pickford there tonight, we win. I don't know. I see what you mean with the penalties, because Begovic got his hand on one, he got close on another. Yeah, it's just if buts and maybes, isn't it? With that, you just can't really factor that in. Yeah, hi Julian. Tom Davies is a disgrace. Yeah, and Mark's with you there. Hi Mark. Tom Davies awful penalty. They had one penalty, but Begovic went the wrong way. Yeah, I felt like Begovic was too quick off his line to commit to a direction, which meant if they hit a poor penalty that was soft, he couldn't react to it. But at the same time, there was one where he got close to, and if he'd gone a bit early, he would have got it. So it's just your penalties. It just comes down to who can read the penalties the best and who takes better penalties, more accurate and more sort of pacey pace on the ball. So I don't know if Ryan will be coming back in with Mabbsy and Steve, who've all been at the game. They've Mabbsy and Ryan have trekked down there, so I don't envy them on the way back up. But I can't say I am surprised that we lost tonight. I mean, if you've listened to the preview yesterday, you would have heard me say I think we'll get to penalties on a 1-1 draw. I was not far away from that. I said we'd win, but only in my heart was I thinking that. We've just lost. I think the first half we were poor, not really at the races defensively. Second half we were better, but I think we suffered for not having a centre forward. There's a comment here which kind of backs that up, Gary, saying why do we play centre forwards who can't play there? Yeah, I think it's just squad depth. When I came in, I said squad depth, and this is the reason. I think we've been caught out in a game like this. I don't think we can win a cup if we don't have a certain level of depth of squad. Hi, Ryan.
David, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, I'm just going to give you my quick summary. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Well, I thought the problem was a lack of leadership in defence. No one was talking the whole game in that back line. We're completely exposed down the wings as well. That Kenny was exceptionally poor all over the place defensively. And I thought they really targeted him in the first half, keep getting down his flank, crossing the ball in, and we just couldn't cover, couldn't defend our box, couldn't stop the cross, couldn't defend the cross. And I think QPR kept getting joy from that. We really struggled to offer anything going forward. I thought Rondon turned like a boat up front. He was just really poor. I thought the goalie also wasn't great in that first half. And then, of course, getting that goal in the start of the second half through Townsend, I thought it was going to be all Everton then. But it was really just more of the same. Struggled to get a grip of the game. Really poor in transition. Not much up front in where Quality Iwobi seemed to be playing as sort of like a second striker, but struggled to get involved. And what he did do was hit and miss. There were too many passengers in that team, like Gordon. He'd go 10 minutes without touching the ball. And the only player there I thought who gave a good account of themselves was Andros Townsend. Moving on to the penalty shootout. I just think Begovic, his body language was like he didn't care. Didn't seem interested. He was close, but not close enough. It was just infuriating. And then the QPR players were trying to wind us up in the away, and Charlie Austin in particular. One of the centre halves he was fighting. It was just absolutely diabolical from start to finish. I'm really struggling to think of positive, apart from maybe the penalties we take. I'm going to pass you now on to Steve. Got anything you can add?
Well, I mean, this is just a case, as I said,
Speak a bit louder because we are.
This is the same old Everton in the League Cup, but one positive that we can take from this is that, we don't have the squad to compete in multiple competitions this year.
That's not a positive.
And I suppose being knocked out means that we don't have to stretch the squad again in the league. We don't really have the squad to rotate.
How have we got a Premier League team? We can't put out more than 7 players on the bench in a League Cup round. We're only 5 games into the season. It's a massive issue. It's embarrassing. I want to try and get Mabbsy on here. David, we're going to love you and leave you. I think if we can get Mabbsy in, then we will, but I'll let you continue. Sorry for kind of just interrupting.
Okay, he's frozen up a bit. Right. No, it's good to get their reaction from the ground. Obviously, they've soaked up the atmosphere and they've seen it from a different perspective. I've been watching it on a dodgy stream. I've struggled to kind of see things, and I've been listening to it in some sort of foreign language. So I can only make of it what I have. He's right though about the bench. I mean, this is just a constant thing we're going to be talking about the next few weeks. I thought maybe today we only had 3 subs and we could only name 7, and then I've just looked now and they've got 7 as well, so maybe that is the case today. Maybe that it's not like the Premier League games where you can feel the bigger bench. But going back to the match, I thought first half, so we didn't have any control in defence. As Ryan said, the centre-backs, for me, Godfrey and Holgate as a pairing, they're weak. They get bullied. They don't read things. They don't read the danger in the way that sort of Mina and Keane tend to do, especially Mina. And they just get caught out. Distribution was really poor from them, especially Holgate. Every time he got the ball, pretty much, it was a poor pass. They tried to go long, and I'd say 9 out of 10 went wide or out of play. But it's not just... I wouldn't be bothered if they were hitting a long pass that was directed, but there tends to be like with no thought behind it. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere that I'm thinking it's going to build to an attack, and it's just overhit. It tends to be totally mishit, which concerns me more. Kenny, as Ryan said, was totally exposed in that first half. All the QPR attacks pretty much came down there. They knew we had Dean on the left, and that was going to be more of a struggle to break through. So they attacked us down our right. And it's no coincidence really that Decore was summoned in that second half, because the midfield had no control. They weren't covering the area with Kenny. And they were getting too much joy, QPR, and it's what resulted in the goals. The first goal, Townsend doesn't track his runner, and he gets in the box, and shot comes across Begovic. He palms it away. It's straight at Charlie Austin. He scores on the rebound. I don't know how fierce that shot really was. Did it need to be parried in that direction? Could he have got more on it? I'm not sure. It seemed soft. It seemed like a catalogue of little errors leading to it. But it's not really a surprise. We conceded 3 goals at Villa and dropped our heads a bit, and now we start the game, concede again. Not forgetting really that we should have been a goal up ourselves by that point with one of the chances I think Gordon had on just inside the box. He had quite a good chance that he hit straight at the keeper. And then I think Iwobi goes through on goal soon after their goal, and he manages to somehow not pass and not shoot. Personally, I thought he probably did the right thing to shoot. There wasn't really a pass on that was comfortable. But the keeper makes a really good stop. And it's actually what results in our goal. You're thinking after he misses that one-on-one, it's just not going to happen for us. And then we got the goal pretty soon after with Dean. There was a slight suspicion of offside in that, but we'll take it if it was. So we get back in the game, and then the same catalogue of errors again in defence, not closing the ball down, simple things. Ball comes over, a little bit of movement from Austin, and Holgate's caught flat-footed. It's not heading away the danger. He's just standing still and hoping the ball will reach his head, which is just not how it works. I want him to attack the ball, and I want him to be watching the runs of the attackers from the opposing team. And then he flicks the header in, and Begovic is nowhere near it either. Maybe he should have got closer to that one. I'm not sure. I'd have to see it back. And then it's 2-1, and you're up against it again. You're at Loftus Road. You've got the crowd up against you. It didn't look a full house, but still you can see how close the pitch is to the crowd. And we've been there before and seen that. So you're up against it then. You're 2-1 down. You've got to show some character. We didn't do a lot more in that first half. We thought we actually created more in that first half than we did really in the second half, despite coming out with a bit more desire to win and show some character. So in the second half, yeah, I thought we did come out. We did start to get back into the game. I think Mabbsy might be coming in for a reaction, and then I'll carry on with the second half. Hi, Mabbsy.
Hello, I can't hear anyone. Just going to give my thoughts on the game. Just, yeah, what can I say? Fucking gutting. Fucking wasn't Davis's fault, but again, these injuries are fucking killing us, and it boils down to not replacing. FFP's fucked us over, big style.
You think it was a squad depth ultimately?
Just fucking gutted. Got to now drive back. I'll fucking drive back, but you know what? I'll do it all again.
We know you will. Well, look, make sure you have a safe journey.
Just typical, innit?
Yeah, it's Everton, isn't it? As Gary's saying, same old Everton. It's basic football.
No, it is, isn't it? You know, just I've seen Everton lose away so many fucking times. Doesn't get any fucking easier. It really doesn't. Just so hard. Gutted. I'm gutted. That's the only word for it.
Yeah. I'm usually more gutted than this, but I think because I know how poor our squad depth is right now, I don't think we're capable of actually managing multiple fronts with how weak our squad is.
No, we're not, but it's just it was a winnable cup. We're not going to win the league. You know, why not throw everything at the fucking cup? We never fucking do that, ever. Never throw the kitchen sink and stuff, and it's ridiculous.
No. But we invited it on, didn't we? Not playing a
could have beaten. Should have beaten them.
It wasn't a bad team we put out, to be fair. I mean, we had players available. We played quite a lot of our Premier League team that will be playing on Saturday. So, you know, at the end of the day, we just couldn't show the quality of the Premier League side. That shows how weak our side is when you take a few players out. All right.
God knows.
I don't know if Stevie's intending to come in or he's... I don't know what. You've left Steve now, have you? It's all gone black.
Right, car park's here. Right, so I'm going to go, guys, because I'm going to get to the car. So I'll see you later.
Bye. Right, yeah, we'll carry on with the second half analysis. So I thought we came out, played a lot better for about 20 minutes. I thought Townsend was the only one really, though, who was sort of creating the real danger. Thought, Wobie had moments, but he would then have moments where he would not really offer anything. But I thought we could create something. Obviously, Rondon's not match fit. He looks like he can't sprint at the moment. He's not getting over to the right positions. But, you know, I thought we looked a bit more in control. I think QPR dropped off and we actually struggled then to kind of break them down. And the goal comes from a set piece. It comes from a clever set piece, actually, because I'm sat there thinking, you got Mina out, you got Keane out, you've got Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison out. You know, your best 4 set piece attackers. Where is this going to come from on the set piece? And we've actually employed a little bit of a clever move of, I think Burnley did it, or one of the other teams we faced. They put all the men on the keeper and then came out and got a run on the ball, and Rondon flicks it on, and Townsend's in the right place to get his well-deserved goal. And then it's back level. And then from there on, you think, let's push on. But we didn't really. Hi, Steve. Are you
Hi.
coming back in?
Just walking back from QPR. I sat right behind the goal with a perfect view of the penalty shootout. Obviously, you know, I agree with most of the comments. We just don't have the squad, even if we won today. But it still doesn't make up for the fact what happened today. And I felt from the moment go there was a discoordination between the defenders and the keeper. They looked like they're not played together. There was a disorganisation there. And then I thought Luca Digne did quite well in the game, and his goal was very well taken, to be honest. I think he surprised most of the Everton fans because we were at the other end and didn't expect the ball to be in the back of the net. I think Kenny struggled a bit more on the right, but it felt disjointed in transition. The Iwobi thing just didn't seem to work for me. It was too tight a game. But from QPR's perspective, they started well. And Everton struggled really to sort of contain them in the first 30 minutes or so. It seemed like we were about a yard off the pace, and it seemed to peter out to a position where both teams wanted it to go to penalties. That Everton had got obviously themselves back level, and we were looking at the clock, and the clock was ticking down. And then when Luka went off, I just felt that, you know, most of our players that take penalties, DCL, Richarlison, Luca Digne, and obviously Gylfi, and they're nowhere to be seen. And I was dreading us to, you know, get 2 or 3 in the net. As it so happened, I think they didn't put a scoreboard up, but by my count, it was 7-6 or 8-7.
Yeah.
And we did pretty well. I mean, obviously Davis hit the post, but the problem was that Begovic didn't look like he was going to save any of those penalties. But it did look like we'd practiced penalties. But overall, the game really just reflects pretty much exactly as I predicted in the earlier video, and really what's becoming quite a common theme with Everton in the early rounds of the League Cup. But I think moving on, I mean, we can't really be too positive. I mean, we basically conceded 2 goals at the end of this, you know, at the beginning of this game, 3 at the end of that, and for me, it's all about getting Pickford back. And getting the defence reorganised again.
It's worrying, isn't it, going into the Premier League game? But I suppose Mina's got to come back in. He's been completely dropped tonight, rested. And then I don't know what we do there, because Godfrey and Holgate just don't look. Maybe they just need to play with Mina and just see how that works, because as a partnership, it doesn't seem to work. And when Keane's in there, it doesn't look solid either.
Yeah. That's right, David. I mean, I don't think Mina coming into that defence is going to make a huge difference. I think the problem is that, you know, it takes time for the keeper and the defenders to have synergy. You know, I mean, it's almost like it felt a bit clueless as to whether the defenders who were dropping back for the goalie for a short goal kick, just like push on. I mean, why were they dropping so deep back? And it just looked like they really haven't played together that much, which is the case. It's absolutely the case. This is a side that it's been assembled. I'm sure they've done training sessions together, just walking through Westfield Shopping Centre. And, you know, they haven't played together. So we kind of need to really stay positive here. Like, this is a side that isn't our first 11. We fought to the end. We probably could have scraped this one on penalty. We've come out unlucky, but if we'd won this, we would have been, you know, made up and probably a bit blinded by the fact that we just didn't play well. We didn't compete to the level that we should have. It's just for the first half, and it shouldn't be like that. But I think for them it was a bigger game than maybe it was for us. Credit to all the travelling support, very vocal from the start. Everton fans were in full voice, and obviously as the game wore on, and things became a bit more on the voice, and I think towards the end we really could have done with more vocal support. But credit to everyone. It's a long journey back for most fans now.
Yeah.
I think,
of course, we had a lot of entertainment, and
you're breaking up a little bit on my end.
Yeah, a lot of entertainment for. So, David, I'm going to leave you with this, and obviously thank you for everyone's contributions with the show.
Okay, thanks for coming on, Steve. Get home safe. Yeah, I think he was cutting out. I don't know. To me, he was cutting out anyway. But I think he made some very valuable comments there. And I think the one I would pick up mostly on is when he said this was our second team. What concerns me most is this isn't really a second team, is it? At the moment, because we're so thin on the ground with injuries. This team is like. This is a Premier League team with a couple more injuries or a suspension and a couple of injuries. This is what would be starting in a Premier League match. And today it was not good enough to beat the QPR side. So it's hardly going to be good enough to beat other Premier League teams. Even with, a few quality additions that we had on the bench tonight, is it going to be good enough to beat most Premier League teams? Without the key players who were injured coming back, I would say probably not. I mean, we have the potential to, but problems are going to happen, especially without having a recognised striker that's match fit. It's incredibly difficult. Just looking through the comments. I don't know what's happening. With people joining and not joining, but Lee's saying Begovic was awful. Gomez Iwobi as well. Yeah, I don't think Begovic clouded himself in any great acclaim tonight. Gomez was hooked rightly for being ineffective. So was Davies, really, but neither of them controlled that midfield. Neither of them covered that well defensively or shielded their defence or contributed in terms of the attacking play. So, very poor. Jason's saying this might sound daft. I know Norwich is off every game, including tonight, but I'm even nervous about Saturday. I think this is going to make people nervous. It's going to make Everton fans quite nervous because of the run of form we've now gone into. That wasn't a great performance, and I think you take that into Saturday. We don't have a lot of confidence with the fact that the team's going to be very similar to this, with just those maybe 4 players coming in. Is that going to make a massive difference? And most teams come to Goodison, or even we go to them, and hoodoos get broken for the opposition. So I wouldn't be surprised if we basically give Norwich their first win of the season. But you've got to hope the crowd get through. You've got to hope the crowd push us on. We can't be passive as a support and expect us to just turn up and start creating and scoring like we have Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin in there. We've got to get behind them, knowing that it's not going to be an easy sort of game. Just coming back onto that last sort of 20 minutes of the game that I was going to talk about before, we've got a comment here from Drew. Hi, Drew. Last 15 minutes, we should have thrown Sims on. Yes, I completely agree with that. I mean, if Rondon's not fit enough to play the full game, which he obviously isn't, then why aren't we putting Sims on? I thought he'd at least get 10 minutes. The decision to put Keane on instead of Sims was kind of baffling, and it just shows the intention of Benitez in terms of winning this competition and how he values Saturday above tonight to give Dean 10 minutes rest. It hardly seems worth it, really. I'm just a bit baffled by that, and I think that's why I'm not as angry. Maybe I should be more angry. I'm more expectant that we lost because we put out a weak team. We made substitutions like that, passive substitutions when we were in control of the game. And I feel like we could have scored if we'd had a fit striker to get the crosses into. And that's kind of, for me, the reason it petered out into penalties. So I'm not blaming Benitez, but I wouldn't personally have made that substitution. Keane was fine when he came on. He scored an excellent penalty, but what do we want? Do we want to win the game or take it to penalties? You invest 80 minutes of players' legs. You've got Townsend working so hard tonight. Rondon was working. They'll play on Saturday. Godfrey might play Saturday. Dean might play Saturday. Begovic will play Saturday. So there's quite a few players there who will play Saturday, and you're investing their legs in trying to win this game, and then you lose it. What was the point? You may as well have stayed at home for the sake of that. Once you've gone there 80 minutes in, you've got to take a risk or you're not going to win the game. So we're putting Iwobi up front and just hoping the ball would land there. When QPR play three sort of physical centre-backs, was always going to be tricky to get Iwobi and Gray there. And you could see QPR were dropping deeper and deeper, and there wasn't the space for Gray to run into anyway. So it was a bit baffling that, but it shows you how maybe unfit Ellis Sims is as well. He's only just come back from injury. He hasn't really had any minutes, but I can't see why he couldn't have played for 10 minutes at least and offered a physical presence. Drew also says Davies was trash. Don't know about trash, but he was as bad as the rest of the bunch of them. Joe 11, hi. The creator of the multiverse and membranes that hold together the multiverse hates us. He hates Everton, and we're not good enough regardless. Need new players ASAP. Well, do you not know, Joe, that whoever the creator is, he's a cop-out. I see you've corrected that to whatever gender this creator is, but they're a cop-out. They just created Everton at the start just so they could create a team that would have misery, and then they support the other team. Joe also says Dean was the best player. I thought Dean played well. Yeah, I thought he played well. Gary says, why not start Sims? Rondon was not fit. Well, Sims isn't fit either. Yeah, it's a tricky one. That I think it's very difficult for us to give an opinion on that because we haven't seen them in training. We haven't seen how they're moving, how they're finishing. We're not speaking to them directly and talking to them about their fitness and how they feel. So, I mean, it's good to say from the outside we want to see Sims, probably because we've never seen Sims before. I'm more excited to see Sims than Rondon. I know what I'm getting with Rondon, and right now it's not a lot because he's not fit. But either players is not really fit. So I don't know. If we're going to play Sims tonight, I would have understood that because he was prioritizing Saturday. But in the end, he's ended up sort of wearing Rondon out, and then now he's going to ask him to play again on Saturday. So I don't know. Peter saying he's seen more life in the transfers. We weren't really at it, especially that first half. There was the desire just doesn't seem to be there. Raymond, hi, guys, spot on. Begovic looks awful. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Begovic. I mean, he looked assured when I saw him. Well, probably in pre-season. It's the last time we really saw him, and the cup game he played against Huddersfield, he looked fine. Don't know why it's gone so sort of shaky. I don't know if it's down to centre back pairing. Obviously, you're changing the whole spine of the team, aren't you? Begovic coming in, and then you've got Holgate, Godfrey, Davies, Gomez. That's a completely different spine to what we would have in Mina, Keane, Allen, and Decore. It's quite a drop in sort of quality. So yeah, maybe it's just too many changes, and we've just been forced our hand to do that. Matty is saying, how is Tom Davies even a footballer? Wanted him gone since day one. How has he lasted this long? Yeah, I don't know. From day one, really, Matty, did you not like him when he kind of come on the scene and he looked half decent and he was like 17, and then he's just not kicked on at all potential wise. He can play anywhere in the midfield now, but when I say he can play, he comes in and he kind of can get the ball and pass it sideways. He might put his foot in, he might show a little bit of desire, but he lacks the quality that we need in this Everton team, and that's why he doesn't start regularly. At the moment, he's kind of fine to come in and play in a squad game, and I don't think Davies is the reason we lose tonight or win tonight, but he's just one of many players who kind of underperformed. Joe saying Iwobi was trash in the first half. Yeah, he wasn't great. I mean, he missed a 1-on-1, which ultimately is going to make him his sort of rating is going to drop instantly. Like, we missed quality chances. Raymond saying Holgate and Kenny are dog shit. We won't get shut till the contracts run out. I don't think we'll get shut of Holgate anyway unless we get an offer. He'll get a new contract, I would have thought. I think Kenny is, I was going to talk about Kenny after, but since you've raised it, I thought he was as bad as Davies, probably worse for me than Davies. Doesn't offer anything. He gets caught out of position. He doesn't know how to pass forward. When he passes forward, it's aimless. It's not anywhere. And he doesn't offer anything. When he gets the ball in attacking areas, he can pass, but he doesn't really offer a cross. He can't dribble. He hasn't got exceptional pace. He doesn't have very good strength. His reading of the game is just not up to it. He's kind of a mile apart from Coleman at his best when he's fit. So there is a drop in those fullback positions. And I was thinking today, if we've got no fullback in reserve at the moment, the fullbacks are on the pitch. Holgate and Godfrey are the reserve fullbacks. So I don't know. We're playing like 4 of our kind of fullbacks positions all in the back line. Joe also says Godfrey's average. He was tonight. Yeah, he was. Holgate was oblivious at times. Yep. As I say, he doesn't read the danger. He was up fault partially for not reading that the second goal of QPR. Kenny slow as fuck. Yeah, exactly. He's got no pace, no strength. Doesn't read the game. I mean, it's not good. It's not good, is it? Yeah. I think these came in after I was talking about it, but sorry, before I mentioned all about Kenny, but yeah, I completely agree. Godfrey back after COVID. He's back and he's not match fit. I think he's getting up to speed now, but you put him in that back line with Kenny and Holgate, you're bound to make mistakes. It's no wonder that whole right hand side was obliterated at moments in that first half. Drew saying their centre mids were weak today. Yeah, the centre mids were weak. Gomez was. They seem to lose the battles. They would do petty things and give away free kicks in the wrong areas where they didn't need to give away free kicks. Over aggressive 1 minute, out of position the next. It just no control. Stephen saying we're not going to get Europe. Well, it's only 5 games in the league. Let's see how we go. I think the injuries are just a massive part of it in the squad depth, and I think that's proved in the last 2 games. So we just have to play that one by ear. We do have the quality when we have a first 11 out, which we've been saying for 18 months, and it's just not going to happen consistently. We have addressed areas in the squad that we we're very weak, but we've almost uncovered more areas where we're weak in the fullback positions and up front till we get the players that we've got sort of match fit. Jasmine, hi. She's saying we're bound to lose. Yeah, typical Everton mentality that though, isn't it? I think quite a lot of fans were sort of pessimistic, hopefully optimistic, but also very pessimistic going into this game. And you know, our worst fears tends to be if we don't get through, we have these sort of scatty ties away from home in the third and fourth round, and we get knocked out. It is disappointing. It is our chance to win a cup competition now. We've got one chance next year, and that's the FA Cup, which, I mean, you'd say that's a more difficult competition to win, but really, Man City dominate the Carabao Cup every year. So the FA Cup tends to change. I remember Arsenal winning it maybe 2 years ago with a not so decent side. So it is winnable. Joe is saying now their first win against us Saturday. Fucking hell, have they won yet? Norwich, no, they've not won a game, and they lost today to the shite. Yeah, they've lost. So I don't think they've even got a point. I thought they had a point, but I'm not sure. Joe's agreeing with something from before. Drew saying if you're on the bench, you should be able to play 25 minutes minimum. Well, it's almost like they're making up the numbers on the bench now, isn't it? I don't get it, really. What's the bench tonight? Keane, Allen, Gray. You're thinking they can offer something to Corey, and then it's Lonergan, she's your sub goalie, Branthwaite, and Sims. I don't know. I expected Sims could play, but obviously not. He's just sat on the bench. I don't know what occasion Sims would have been brought on. Was he there just on the bench in case we were 3-0 up and we could give him 15 minutes to just run round? Or was he there if we were 3-0 down and the game's over? Is that why he's on the bench, or is he actually on the bench to make an impact? Because tonight Rafa obviously didn't think he was going to make an impact, and he brings on Michael Keane and saves Dean's legs because he thinks, well, you know, I mean, I'm not going to risk Allen, and I'm not going to put Lonergan or Branthwaite on. Mark's saying, I'm going Saturday, my first game in 2 seasons. I'm fearful with our squad. That's a shame you're going on Saturday because we've got no players. Like strikers, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. When they're out, your whole head just drops. I mean, it'll still be good. I think the atmosphere will be decent. I think we need to stay positive when we go to Goodison on Saturday. And it's in real danger of becoming an onslaught on Benitez if we lose that game in a sort of weak manner on the back of 2 poor games. So we've just got to stick behind them. I'm going to wrap up in a minute. I know there's still about 20 of you watching. If you've got any more comments, send them in now. I'm just looking through the team, thinking what I haven't really touched on. Maybe Gordon. Gordon, I thought he can offer something as a squad player. He's obviously not the finished article. He needs to increase his sort of physicality. He gets muscled off sometimes, but he's got pace and he's direct. It's good skills that he has. Townsend, I thought he was our best player by pretty distance. When he picked up the ball, he looked to make things happen. He had the experience on the pitch. His passing was good. He gets in the right areas. He gets past players. So I thought he was probably our best player tonight. And I think that kind of covers the whole team, really. Just looking in the comments, there's another one from Drew. You take every game as it comes. Don't bring Gray, etc. on. They still stand a chance of getting injured playing 20 minutes as playing 90 from the start, winning the game, then subbing off. Yeah, I mean, if you play him from the start and you're winning the game, he's still playing 60, 70 minutes, isn't he? though you basically played him for the whole game if you do that, and that's why he's rested him, and he's taken a chance. We've taken a chance that we're going to be able to win the game in the last 10 minutes. And I don't know if that wasn't really a good strategy, really. I think if we'd had a genuine centre forward on, and Gray running off him, but to bring Gray on and hope he was going to be the one to change the game on his own against the three centre backs, was a bit optimistic, and he didn't really have time to get in the grips of the pace of the game. I don't know. So you know what? Tonight, to me, it comes down to the situation that we've been dealt with, injuries with the squad, and it just hasn't translated into a good performance. It's translated into a very poor defensive display when QPR attacked us, due to a mix of sort of not knowing each other in that sort of setup, those personnel playing together, and their individual sort of abilities. Midfield obviously have shown they're a class below the starting midfield duo, and then up front we're just toothless when we don't have a striker to put the ball in the net who's fit. But let's see what happens. Let's try and put this aside. Let's put this aside. I think if we got through, we would have eventually hit another United or a City with a bench full of a United with a bench of Pogba and Ronaldo on it, to bring on after 60 minutes and obliterate us. It's as much as I want to win the cup, if we haven't got the squad depth, we got to prioritize one way or another. And obviously, it's been decided that we're going to just play this half-hearted tonight, and it's all about Saturday, really. So if that's the way it's going to be, you've just got to commit to it with our squad. You saying start them 2-0 up half time, then you can rest them up. Yeah, well, that's good if you are 2-0 up, but if you're not 2-0 up, what do you do then? You've got to keep them on for the whole for 70 minutes, haven't you? You're not going to take them off. You're going to get even more angry fans. And tonight we were guilty of not taking our chances in the first half, and the squad depth in the second half, the lack of striker to replace with Rondon seemed to be what halted our progress when we were actually on top of the game in the second half, and ultimately his penalties is the luck of the draw. And I'll give them credit because they took 7 very good penalties. I was worried when we started taking penalties, stepping up with Holgate, who's centre backs taking your opening penalties is not a good sign. But they were very good penalties. We missed Pickford in that regard, but that's it. Mark, financial fair play has cost us. Yeah, it has on this occasion. And injuries, isn't it? Our luck's never in, is it? When do we ever have any considerable luck? I'm going to leave it there for tonight because it's getting quite late. If you can like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, or head over to YouTube, that would be great if you haven't already. And I'm sure we'll see you very soon. Have a good evening. Bye.